Hello! Yeah, this is my new mask. I got this through the post the other day. Well, I'm a huge fan of the computer game Army of Two, and I just saw it online, going for about a tenner. Basically a paintball mask, but yeah, yeah. Got to take it off because I'm steaming up there. Yeah, well, it's a bit underlit today because, well, it's oddly overcast. It's the first grey day I've had in months. It's been a bit of a heat wave in the UK. I was going to do a noodle video at work, put the noodles in a bag, and I forgot to take the bag with me to work. So basically, I'm doing it at home. You know, pretty knackered. I've been up since about 3 o'clock this morning, so the old eyes are a bit red. But yeah, yeah. I've got these ones called Illumi, gluten free. They're rice noodles. Now, I don't have a lot of rice noodle usually. Um, it's nice. It's got a lid that goes back on and stays on. Some of these noodles they have a silver thing that folds back over to help the boiling process, but they don't stay. They keep popping up. You end up having to put things on top to keep it down. Soup mix. This is Singapore. These were quite. These weren't cheap. These were the. I think they were nearly £2 each. But I thought I'd give it a try because it's new. Um, oh, that smells very spicy. Smells very curry. I'm not a huge fan of curried noodles, but I'll give it a try. You know, it's, yeah. Well, you can tell they're a good expensive noodle because they've turned soft instantly. Like I was saying in my last video, cheap noodles you got to boil them till you know cows come home to get them to be edible. Well, you can get them partially boiled and then they're crunchy, and then you eat them, and then about half an hour later you feel nauseous, like vomit. Soup base is mixing in pretty well as well. It's got bits of veg in it. It's not just powder. Uh, yeah. Smells very spicy. Oh, the other thing, each one of these I'm going to do a fortune cookie. Got a load of these Silk Road fortune cookie. Even though they do have some pretty weird statements in them. One of them said um, computers can only calculate, they can't give you answers. I was like, really fortune? Is that more like philosophy than fortune? Confucius say, he who sits on fire gets burnt bottom. Taste. Confucianism's very odd. I know I never studied it as a religion, but I am quite a fan of Alan Watts' talks on the subject. It's like Taoism. Taoism is quite interesting, the Tao de Jie. Mm. It's very spicy, very curry, sort of, a bit like a sort of Taiwanese curry. I certainly wouldn't be eating this every day, but it's okay for a now and then. Yeah, the noodles are very soft as well. They're not stringy at all. It's more like a sort of I can't think of it. It's all like a tagliatelle. It's very floppy. Also, because of the design of the case, it does trap in on quite a lot of heat. So you certainly don't want to be resting these on your knees. Something you wouldn't want to eat in a nudist colony, if you get my meaning. Sorry, I'm not naked. I'm wearing my jock strap, but you know, I had to today because yeah, it's cloudy, but it's not cool. It's still got a little bit of bite of humidity in here. Yeah, if you have to work in warm conditions, don't wear tight fitting underwear. You end up with jock itch, and rashes, and all sorts of painful things. Given the choice, if this was a society run by me, on hot days like this, I'd have everyone walk around naked. Yeah, I don't hold with the idea that nudity equals sex. I find that a bit of a creepy prospect. I think nudity is just natural. People should have the freedom to walk around completely naked. And the excuse I've always heard is, "Oh, what about the children? Oh, what about the children?" Children don't mind being naked. When I was a child, I used to go skinny dipping and all sorts. I find it's mainly an excuse, like pretty much most times, that you get some busybody do-gooder saying, "Oh, when someone think of the children." That usually means I can't argue a decent argument, therefore I will go for the emotional argument. One of the reasons why I was explaining on Twitter earlier about Ann Coulter, who's this, well, she claims to be a journalist. She's not a journalist. She's basically a troll. She says things are wildly crazy to get a reaction because that's how she makes her living. She basically makes a profit off being a reactionary. Much like Milo Yiannopoulos, who I respect his freedom of speech, but I find him a pretty horrible, nasty person. Um, the sort of people he's fighting against, like, you sort of, it's a little bit like seeing Nazis and Japanese shooting at each other during World War II. You don't really want to take either side because they're pretty much the sort of feminist he has an argument with is the sort of person who makes wild statements like all men are capable of rape. Bullshit. I know I've worked with plenty of disabled people. It'd be a physical impossibility, but it's the egg boxing of society. That's basically what most SJWs and third-wave feminists seem to do. They seem to have completely forgotten that there's an element called class. Yes, a white man who is a high earner gets a lot of privilege. Well, a white man at my level, I'm working class. I get very little in what people call privilege. I find the whole privilege idea really simplifies things, but it simplifies them too much. Gross simplification isn't reality. It was like the whole concept of white guilt. Yes, some empires were pretty horrible to native inhabitants, but not all of them. You know, if you put the British Empire next to, say, the Ottoman Empire, British Empire wasn't that bad. It was the first major empire to outlaw slavery. It was an empire that dealt with incredibly crazy, thuggish characters the world over. You know, I can think of just off my head the dervishes in the Sudan who were a crazy cult, the thuggies in India who were probably the most savage cult of mass organisation. What I mean by that was that in Indian culture, thuggies were everywhere. They were at every level of society. They weren't just the underclass, they were members of the aristocracy of India. Yeah, these are very good movies. I'll have to buy these again because they're quite filling as well as tasty. But like I was saying about SJWs, it's this gross simplification that actually didn't originate in the left, it actually originated in the right because the assumptions that were made, particularly during the 1950s, was that if you're a socialist, you're a Marxist, therefore you're a communist. And unfortunately, the left adopted this in the probably, I'd say, the late 90s. The assumption being if you're a Christian, therefore you're right wing, therefore you're this, therefore you're that. And if you're a white Christian, it must mean you're obviously racist, which is ridiculous. I know plenty of Christians that are unlikable cunts, but I've met quite a few Christians who are quite nice, open and lefty people. It also fails to take into account how oppressed people can be just as nasty and racist, homophobic. I used to go to a drop-in centre that's quite near to where I live, and I can remember sexuality came up into the conversation, and I was really surprised how many of them were homophobic, really, really savagely homophobic. Um, you know, I was thinking, you're oppressed people, you suffer with all sorts of mental disorders from depression to schizophrenia, yet you'll target another group who have got their own problems. And it struck me as very weird. I didn't tell them I was bisexual because some of them were, well, one of them was pretty violent in his dislike for homosexuality. He said, oh, they should all be strung up. Basically, tongue. There was a born again Christian who literally laid down all of the problems of modern society, why he couldn't get a job even though he had a massive criminal record for attempted murder and kidnap. Um, but all of this was actually not the reason why he couldn't get a highfalutin job. The reality was that society was perverted by homosexuals. Homosexuals were repressing. When I pointed out how ridiculous this was, he said, obviously I'd say that because I wasn't a Christian, which I pretty much said, well, that's just ludicrous, you're being silly. And he got very angry and threatening about it. And in the end, I just left it because I thought, what's the point? Anyway, a fortune cookie. I'm going to open it in the bag because this is very brittle and I don't want it all over my carpet. It's quite nice. They're quite nice. They taste very sort of like almonds sort of flavouring. See the words of wisdom. It's odd because they're in lots of different languages as well. They're in German, French, Spanish. Always begin with an end in mind. Well, I have been looking at a lot of Bella Bell's porn lately. Bell's with a Z or a Z. And she's got a very impressive end. It's a big wobbly bottom. And yeah. We'll go through periods where I get turned on by different women. And at the moment, I've been on a bit of a jag of women with big bums and twerking. But yeah. Anyway, noodles very good. I give those a 17 out of 17 actually. Even though I'm not used to eating spicy food, I don't have to worry about it. I don't get the shits or anything from spicy food, but it's surprisingly good noodles. Anyway, let's sort these down. Non-Chinese invention. I suppose fortune cookies are American invention. Anyway, it's the end of this video. Hopefully, I'll be putting some of these on Periscope. Don't know which. I'll probably start doing them on Periscope on Monday because tomorrow, being Saturday, I'll probably. I might even do one when I get home again, like today, because Saturday's always boring nowadays. Ever since 2008, Saturdays are the most pondering day of the week because everything people don't shop anymore. I can understand why, because online shopping's terrific. I love it. I buy stuff sometimes that I don't even need. I bought this blackhead peel today. I do get spots, a touch of acne on my nose today, actually, but it's probably because I haven't slept very well. I had insomnia most of this week. But, oh yeah, just buying stuff online. It's cheaper. You can find stuff that you're thinking of buying, you just buy it. I keep buying lots of underwear that is almost experimental, and I actually, I wouldn't have started wearing jock straps if I hadn't seen them going for like £2 on Amazon. But I'll have a go. I'll give it a try. And I've got loads of them now because they're really comfortable to wear. Anyway, yeah, that's the end of the video. I won't show you my arse. I'll save that for an egghead video, hopefully. He has me on again. Yeah. Anyway,